Hello, this is Bob Oros, coming to you today with lesson number 48 from Conover, North Carolina, located just north of Charleston, a nice little small town there. And it is actually, as you can see by the sign here next to me, the National Country Ham Association headquarters. Bet you didn't know there was a Country Ham Association. Well, this is right in the heart of the country. The hams are cured all throughout this area, all the way up through Tennessee, Kentucky, and down through Georgia. And it's a staple item on many menus and in many stores. If you're not familiar with country ham, what they do is they rub it all down with spices and curing salt. In some cases, they have a pump where they pump the spices into the meat to get it in around the bone, but for the most part, they just have to rub them down. And after they do that, they put them in the curing room. And the curing room, they can stay in there anywhere from 3 months to 3 years. They become shelf stable. They don't need to be refrigerated, and they are just quite a unique item to eat and to experience. Now, curing itself started way back when they used to go out to sea and they didn't have refrigeration, so they had to be able to take protein with them. So that's why they started curing the meats. And you can see here they have all kinds of meats that they cure. There's some sausage there behind me. That's a front shoulder there to your left, ham behind me. But they would cure all these meats so they were shelf stable, so they could take them out to sea with them. Now, country ham, you slice it a little bit different. You slice it with the grain, and usually you slice it thin. It's going to be a little bit salty. In some cases, you take the whole ham and put it in a pan, cover it with water, and boil it a little bit to get some of that salt out before you serve it. Now, the way we're going to have it is we're going to have it probably with for breakfast with a couple of eggs. So you have a nice slice of country ham, you have 2 eggs, you have maybe a little red-eye gravy, and some grits, and probably a side order of biscuits and gravy. Now, that will fill you up for the day. You probably don't want to have that during a weekday or your sales will be affected, but if you have it on a Saturday morning, and really can enjoy that meal. Today's lesson number 48, how many closing strategies do you need? Well, actually, closing is an important part of our business. That's how we get paid. If we don't close, we don't get the check, we don't get the order. So some people emphasize closing too much because it's only part of the sale. Well, you have to go through the whole process. If you don't, there's no point in closing because they're going to just say no. You have to overcome the objections. You have to make a great presentation. You have to, in our business especially, you have to build rapport, and you have to make them feel comfortable before you start asking for the order. A lot of times I'll get non-selling managers give me a call, and they'll say, our sales are down. I want you to come in and teach my salespeople how to close. They're just not closing. Well, if they're not closing, it's not because they're not actually closing. It's because they're not doing the whole sales process. They're not making a presentation. They're not overcoming objections. They're not building rapport. So keep that in mind. Now, there are certain techniques that you use, and as I said, only 1 in 4 salespeople actually do close. Why, I don't know. Why that number is so low, I don't really know. Just maybe out of fear, they're just afraid to ask. But remember, like we said before, a buyer buys, a seller sells, and that's part of our job. And a buyer expects you to close. So with that in mind, there are some closing techniques in here that you really need to know and be familiar with. So when it does come time to ask for the order, you know how to do it. So with that in mind, look this lesson over carefully and go out and have some country ham and eggs for breakfast today, or maybe wait till Saturday morning and have it, and you'll really enjoy it. Go out and make a great sale today, and we'll be back again tomorrow with another lesson from another city.